皆さんこんにちは。ゴーシン真理ラボのゴーシンです。この動画は 3i アトラスと R2 スワン彗星レイさんが撮影最新情報をお届けします。皆さんいかがお過ごしでしょうか。2025年の11月ラストの日となりました。本日はですね、アビー・ローブ博士の最新の情報の更新がこの撮影時点ではまだありません。3i アトラスの情報を私の方でもいろんな方面から探しているんですけれども、本日一番この情報素晴らしいなという情報をお伝えしてまいります。本日はですね、レイズ・アストロフォトグラフィーのレイさんが最新の 3i アトラスの映像を撮影し、さらにはスワン彗星 R2、こちらの彗星についてもですね、天体を撮影してほしいという声が多数彼の方に届いていたそうで、その2つの天体についての彼なりの説明、そして 3i アトラスの新しい情報、皆さんと一緒にですね、彼の動画を見ながら私がさらに分かりやすく途中解説を入れたりとか日本語でまとめたものを提供してまいります。ぜひ皆さんチャンネル登録、グッドボタン、そしてハイプボタンで応援よろしくお願いします。それでは早速一緒に見てまいりましょう。1.25 倍速で回しますので、約10分ぐらいの動画にギュッとね圧縮されます。
So today is officially day 2 of the planetary defense exercise program. I haven't seen a whole lot of data yet, but there will be more data coming from that program. They might use like 4 1-meter telescopes and several university observatories as well. So we might see a lot of data coming our way, so we can start making use of.
さあここで一つ注釈を加えておきます。惑星防衛プログラムと今話しておりましたが、こちらになります。 IAWN ですね。インターナショナルアステロイドワーニングネットワークということで、こちらの5番にまとめてあります。国連の承認を受けた国際天体監視ネットワーク IAWN 国際小惑星警報ネットワークがキャンペーンをついに開催しました。レイさんの動画の撮影した時点で2日目だというふうに話をしております。2025年の11月27日から2026年1月27日までの62日間 3i アトラスなどの画像をですね集めるよっていうキャンペーンがついに始まったってことです。アマチュア天体写真家、そしてアマチュア天文学者の腕の見せ所ですね。
All the data to understand the comet 3i Atlas, what it is. I started looking at how big the comet 3i is. So I saw some pictures of Mars and comet 3i, and I was always thinking whenever I see the comet 3i pictures, I see there's a big coma around it, and I started calculating based on the telescope that we are using, based on the camera size, based on how far it is from us to comet 3i Atlas, and the picture that we are taking, the sensor size, you can calculate how big the diameter of the comet 3i Atlas coma. We cannot actually see the nucleus itself, but at least the coma, how big that is. And it is looking closer to like a 17,000 kilometers, which is almost the size of Earth or even bigger. So I think Earth is 12,500 kilometers. So it's a big size coma, right? So if there is a way we can understand, if you're looking at Mars and if you're looking at comet 3i Atlas next to it, you would see, if comet 3i is bright enough, you would see them almost the same size in the sky. It's kind of like that big, right? But if you wanted to compare that with the Jupiter is huge planet, and the eye of the storm on the Jupiter, how big that is how big the comet 3i Atlas along with the coma is. So anyway, I started looking at the data. I'm going to share the data and the pictures with you as well. So there were numerous requests asking me to take pictures of the comet R2 SWAN.
はい、ここで一旦止めます。今非常に重要な新しい情報が混ざっておりました。こちらになります。3i アトラスのコマの大きさは 17,000km です。地球より大きいんですよ。地球の直径は、赤道上でおおよそ 12,756km です。極を通る直径では約 12,714km ということなので、3i アトラスのコマの大きさが 17,000km、ついに地球よりも大きくなりました。 そして 3i アトラスのそのコマを含めた全体の大きさっていうのが木星の大斑点みたいなね、この丸い部分あると思うんですけど、その大きさと同じになったってことです。めちゃめちゃでかいですよね。
I believe there was several folks talking about this R2 swan and one being on one side of the earth and 3i Atlas being the other side of the earth. So they are putting a lot of comparison between these two comets. There are reports that they are same. So let's understand a little bit more what it is all about. So R2 swan was recently discovered, and it was actually discovered in October after the perihelion date, when it came closer to the sun. And the reason why we didn't discover is because this is more to do with the comet chemical composition. Essentially, the hydrogen, which is nothing but the water vapor coming out of the comet, has to exist for the SWAN instrument on the SOHO spacecraft, which is orbiting around Sun. And the SWAN is an instrument which is going to pick up the solar wind. And the only way it is going to pick up is if there is a hydrogen molecule, which is nothing but water vapor there. And it couldn't find any, so no one detected the R2 SWAN comet coming in. And as soon as it came so close to the sun, it suddenly got activated, bursted with all the water vapor. And now our telescope started picking up the signature of this comet. The SWAN is a solar system comet, more than likely, but it came from the Oort cloud. So what is Oort cloud, right? It is nothing but like a ring around our solar system, like an outside solar system. Think of...
はい、一旦止めます。地球の雲というふうに、字幕の方で訳されていますが、これはオールトの雲のことを話しています。R2 スワン彗星がどこから来たのかというお話ですね。それは太陽系をこう天球状に囲んでいる、その彗星群みたいな場所があるんですね。ちょっと映像をご覧に入れます。はい、こちらですね。この天球状です。これがオールトの雲になります。で、ここのポツンとある部分、これズームアップしていくとここに太陽系があるよという、果てしない遠い場所ですね。おそらくここから今回のスワン R2 彗星はこういうふうに飛来してきたのであろうというふうに言われています。
From the Earth to the moon is like 1 centimeter, like really tiny. Like if we miniature it that small, the Oort cloud is almost like 2,000 kilometers. It's giant, right? So if our solar system is this small, Oort cloud is like this big. And it's nothing but icy bodies. It's a leftover material from the planetary building that was done. And whatever is the material that's out there, it's rotating around that plane, the orbital plane. Once in a while, there will be a comet from those icy bodies come towards the sun, goes back in there. So you will hear a lot of comets coming from Oort cloud. That's what that is. Anyway, so this one came from the Oort cloud, the R2 swan. So chances are, if it is on the outer edges of the Oort cloud, it is interstellar comet as well. So one reason why it picked up quite a bit of noise because the sodium signature was missing from the usual cometary signature. It is looking different than Comet 3 Atlas. I will show you the pictures close by, and I can show you at least my comparison of it. Comet Swan, you will realize it's actually going backwards. What I mean to say was, it is actually going towards its tail, and it's going back, right? Because it is going away from sun, the way we would see it is the comet is going, the tail is in front of it, but it is going out, right? So I'll show you those pictures as well. It kind of looks like an anti-tail, but really it is going away from sun. That's what the illusion that we will have, particularly from the way we are looking at. Please do subscribe to my channel. Please click on the like button and the notifications button, so you get the notification when I post the new videos on Comet 3 Atlas or any other astronomy videos. Thank you. So these are the pictures of Comet Swan that I captured. These are more looking like a cometary kind of object, at least that's the feeling that I get. And you can clearly see the tail is, you can clearly see the tail is on, the comet is going towards the tail. Because if you kind of flip this way for a second and assume the sun is on this side and the comet is going back, right, going back over cloud. So that's why you see as if
ここで彼が言っているのは、この R2 スワン彗星がアンチテールがあるように見えるんだけど、実際はこれはアンチテールじゃなくて尾なんですよっていうことを言っています。太陽から遠ざかってる方向に進んでるんだけど、太陽から太陽風が吹かれてるので、尾はなんとなくその進行方向に進んでるようになってると。私の方でですね、イメージをさらに分かりやすく解説します。さあ、こちらをちょっと使ってみましょうか。この図が分かりやすいかな。地球がいて、太陽があります。で、こっちに、スワンがあるけど、こっちに進んでいくんですね、スワンが。こういうイメージ。だからアンチテールのように見えるんですね、これが。そして一つちょっと気になったんですけど、なんかね、太陽の近くに彗星が1個あるんですよ、これポツンと。210P クリステンセンですね。これ私の方でも調べたんですが、こちらの詳細ですね。210P クリステンセン。軌道、木星属彗星で軌道周期は約 5.7 年ですということで、近日点通過が2025年11月22日でした。こんな彗星の話を私は聞いたことなかったので、急に現れてますよね。現在観測しやすくなる方向に高度が上がっていますが、現行しているため望遠鏡が必要ですということで、一応観測はできるんですね。
the comet has an anti-tail jet, but more than an anti-tail jet, this is more actually going towards Earth cloud from our perspective.
スワン R2 彗
It's a
星
very
です。
interesting comet to take a look at it. It has a huge, like if you get closer to it, it has a huge coma to it. There is some signature there. The once in a while, the pulsation kind of brightness is because of the kind of brightness that we captured as part of acquisition, but nothing to do with the actual comet itself. I'll slow it down a little bit so that you can.
はい。ここでですね、今の R2 スワン彗星がなんか点滅してるような感じがありましたよね。あれは、R2 スワン彗星の点滅は彗星本来のものではありませんよ。撮影機器の影響ですよということを話しています。
Take a careful look at it. That's too slow. I'll zoom out a little bit. It's a beautiful looking comet, R2 Swan. It comes in the evening time, and Atlas is coming. 3 Atlas is coming in the morning, almost now, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock time frame. So this one comes a bit late in the day. So these are the set of pictures that we captured for Comet 3A Atlas. And I'm going to zoom in for you. So take a look at the comet here, right? Doubt that I had in mind was the comet is looking this big, right? The size of the comet and the stars next to it, right? So if I zoom out, maybe if I look at maybe Mars or Saturn or Jupiter, if I just take a smaller exposure of those, they'll be of this size, right? So that prompted me to start thinking, let's calculate the size of the coma, at least the internal coma, not necessarily the other tails and jets and all, but just the main internal core, inner core of the size of Atlas. So when I started calculating it, to my surprise, the calculations are coming. Let me share that picture with you. So based on the visual comparison that I did, looking at that from 3 Atlas from my telescope, with the current pixel scale that I have, my size of my telescope, the size of my telescope, the camera that I'm using, and the distance that I have from the telescope to the 3 Atlas, the inner coma is roughly around 14,500 kilometers, whereas the Earth is around 13,000 kilometers. The nucleus could be anywhere between 1 kilometer to 5.6 kilometers. We don't know exactly what that size is, but it is quite a large nucleus. And this comparison starts making sense when you take a look at this coma right here and compare to the next stars or the size of the Mars next to it. It actually shows you that how big this coma is with respect to the comet. So if you are looking in the sky, the planet Mars and next to the comet 3 ATLAS, you might actually be surprised. 3 ATLAS will look as big as Mars if 3 ATLAS is bright enough. So I'm going to start using different wavelengths and start taking pictures. So that's all I have. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscribe button. And
はい、ということでレイさんの動画はここで終わりになります。今回の驚きの発見はですね、コマの大きさですね。地球よりも大きかった。レイさんのこの動画最初の方だと 17,000km ぐらいって話だったけど、この最後の実際に 3i アトラスの画像から説明してる時はですね 13,000km だったんですけど、だいぶちょっとね差があるなと思ったんですが、まあ大体地球と同じかそれよりも大きいよっていうことを今回分かっただけでも大きかったのかなと思います。今回ですね、ここから IAWN 国際小惑星警報ネットワークのキャンペーンがもう始まりましたから、大量のですね 3i アトラスの画像が届いて分析が始まると思われます。ここからですね引き続き 3i アトラス情報をまた皆さんに最新の情報として日本語で分かりやすくお届けさせていただきます。ぜひチャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。それではまた他の動画でお会いしましょう。ゴーシン心理ラボのゴーシンでした。またね。